Hang on to your Schofield Bibles tightly now. For the coming of the book of Acts, there was no new church. Mr. Schofield says the church was started on Pentecost, and he's doubly wrong. Wrong because the church that he's talking about doesn't exist. He's talking about all believers forming a church, and there's no such thing as that. The word church in the Bible is the word ecclesia, which means a called out assembly. All believers have never been called out, nor have they ever assembled, so they did not form a church. If you didn't have a Schofield Bible or Larkin's chart, you wouldn't believe that. Now, the second thing Mr. Schofield's wrong on, not only is there no invisible church, see, here's his reasoning. He talks about the local church, and then he calls the invisible church the true church, which implies to me that the local church is not the true church. You know better now, Mr. Schofield. If you had talked to me before you wrote this Bible, you'd gotten that straight a long time ago. I'm not preaching you any heresy. I'm preaching Baptist doctrine. Our Anabaptist forefathers did not believe in the universal church or the invisible church. It comes from the old mother of harlots, El Papa himself. The word Catholic means universal, and that universal church doctrine has been handed down from the Catholics, the Protestants, the non-denominationalists. We Baptists have swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. And as I said the other night, it's a very interesting thing that when these invisible church people want to raise some money, they always go to the visible churches to raise the money. Because invisible churches raise invisible money, and you can't deposit invisible money. Now, there will be a day when all believers will be a church. That's when the rapture takes place. All believers are called out to meet the Lord in the air, and then only will we become a called out assembly. Spoken of in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 23, where it says, the general assembly of the church of the firstborn assembled in heaven. Now, then and only then will we, all believers, be a church, because then and only then will we become a called out assembly. Because the church was started sometime in the earthly ministry of Jesus. In Matthew chapter 18, it says, you got a problem, take it to the church. Mr. Schofield says right above that, says discipline in the future church. You can't take a problem to a future church. You got to take it to a present church. Then in Acts chapter 2, it says they were added to the church. You can't add to what ain't there. And so when Jesus, sometime in his earthly ministry before Matthew 18, I think maybe in Matthew 10, he called out a group of people and assembled them and started what we call the New Testament church.